Hey everybody, and welcome to this weekly update. Thank you for joining me once again. I just want to shout out to everybody that supported me last week on my 2-year anniversary edition. I really do appreciate everybody that joined me on that live stream and supported me. And also well done to John for winning the prize that I gave away and also sending me the little animation of it built up. I really do appreciate the support. So yeah, thank you to everybody that came to those live events and shared those and supported me and continuing to support me on this journey. Now there's a lot of news that I want to get through this week, so let me start off. The first bit of news I want to talk about is GitHub's Codespaces. Now this is something that has been talked about and has been previewed and beted quite a bit recently, but it's now generally available for those that have GitHub Team and GitHub Enterprise cloud licenses, and it's pretty cool what GitHub Codespaces can do. It means that you no longer have to always carry the machine that you want with all the tools to do your development, to do your tinkering with. If you are maybe on the move or you're hot desking with your work, basically what you can do is from a GitHub repo, from either a branch or a commit, you can spin up this virtual environment, this cloud-based compute where you can have all your tools installed and you can have that sitting there and easily spun up quite quickly. So if you're hot desking or your machine's broke down and you're having to use a spare one and you haven't got it all configured up yet, hopefully you have a GitHub Codespaces environment that's all configured and you can spin that up and continue on doing the work that you need to. So very cool technology, very interested to see where this goes within the developer and hopefully IT pro space as well, because let's face it, GitHub is pretty cool for even the non-developers among us as well. Now there's a bit of news around Azure storage, and I want to read this out because it's quite important and there's quite a lot of detail, so I definitely don't want to get it wrong, so apologies for having to read this. The Azure Storage Blob Inventory feature provides an overview of your containers, your blobs, your snapshots, and your blob versions within a storage account. So using the inventory report to understand various attributes of your blobs and containers, and you can get that information. It will tell you things like total data size, age, encryption status, immutable, policy, legal hold, and all other features that you would expect as well to be in that report. The report provides an overview of your data for business and compliance requirements. Now, the inventory is available in all public regions and pricing on the start of 1st of October 2021, with regional uplifts going on the baseline price. So I think this is actually going to start to maybe change in terms of pricing in October. So one to have a dig about with if you are using this feature, because I know it's been in preview and I know it's been various different levels of general availability, but definitely watch out for the pricing if it is something you're using, because it looks like there's going to be a change in October. But a very cool feature to be able to collate what's happening with your storage and understand it as well, because I think storage can be one of those things that people are frightened always to delete something or clean something out because they're not sure what's happening. So being able to do this kind of inventory report to understand what's there and if there's any cost savings, if things could maybe be deleted, then it's really important to have a look at that as well. So pretty cool feature within the Azure Storage Blob features as well. Now the next bit of news I want to touch on is Kubernetes, and Kubernetes released a 1.21 version recently, and now the Azure Kubernetes service, the AKS service, actually supports that version. Now I think Kubernetes 1.21 came out with about 50 different enhancements across the board there, and a number, I think it was 19 new capabilities as well. So fantastic release from the Kubernetes team, and now that it's supported in AKS, definitely something to have a look at and start to play with in your environment and maybe implement into production as well. So nice feature there from the Kubernetes and the AKS team as well. Now this is a preview feature. So this is a preview feature within the Azure VMware solution that we have, or AVS, if you like your acronyms. And this is around placement policies, where you can define some constraints around running your virtual machines inside that Azure VMware solution software defined data center, which actually gets shortened down to SDDC, again if you like your acronyms. These placement policies just give you that bit more control about where and how to run your virtual machines inside that SDDC cluster, or software defined data center cluster. Again, it's in preview, so have a look at it. It might be useful to you if you have to maybe constrain, again, if you have to look at how you implement your AVS environment. So again, another one to look out for from the Azure team as well. Now, looking at the tech news, there has been a couple of things that have caught my eye this week. The first one is something that I'm sure maybe has popped up on a lot of your Twitter feeds. I know there's been talk from some of my US friends around this one. And there was a breach, a data breach in the T-Mobile customer database recently in the US. I believe about 40 million customers are affected. Lots of personal data, no financial data, according to what T-Mobile are saying, was stolen. But a lot of personal data has been released into the dark web or black net or whatever you want to call it. So that's unfortunate. That's obviously a big one, a big hit for a big company like T-Mobile. I'm not sure they were aware of it. I think they found out once the data was starting to get sold on the black market. So that's not a great position to be in either. But one to be aware of if you are potentially a US customer with T-Mobile as well, about what your data is doing. I'm sure it will be spoke about by Troy Hunt, and probably I Have Been Pwned might have an update. Don't know, depends on what data was stolen. But on that note, Have I Been Pwned? Have I Been Pwned? That's what it's called. .com is a great website to have a look at and understand if your data has been stolen. If, you know, old passwords, old forum usernames and accounts have been stolen in the past or been leaked. And if you're reusing passwords, which we all shouldn't be doing, we should be using password managers. But it gives you a great insight. So if you haven't already signed up for Have I Been Pwned, then definitely have a look at that as well, because it's a great free service that Troy Hunt actually runs. Now, the other bit of news I wanted to pick out this week was around Tesla's self-driving autopilot system. There's been a number of crashes. I think over the last few years there's been a number of incidents where the Tesla autopilot system has actually crashed into stationary vehicles. I actually believe there's been some accounts where the Tesla cars, when on autopilot, have actually crashed into ambulances, which is not always great, because if an ambulance is around, there's already something happening that's potentially dangerous. So we definitely don't want to be piling on to that. So the US federal agency in charge of road safety has actually opened an official investigation into this to try and understand a bit more about the, I think, 11 crashes that have happened in the last 3 or 4 years around the Tesla self-driving cars. So quite interesting there. I know there's a lot of Teslas around me. I've seen a lot of my neighbours start to buy Teslas. I don't think we have the autopilot system here in the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm not blown away by the Tesla design, I'll be honest, and I'm definitely not looking for a self-driving autopilot system car. I enjoy driving my car, enjoy changing the gears, I enjoy cleaning the car. All facets of cars I enjoy, so it's not something I've actually looked at too much, but definitely interesting to see this being looked into, because I think it possibly is the way that we're going to be going with cars in the future. So trying to get them as safe as possible is obviously a key thing for everybody, users, manufacturers, government agencies, etc, etc. So yeah, be interesting to see the outcome of this, and if there's any regulations, any changes that need to be made to how manufacturers actually design self-driving cars, that kind of thing. But yeah, interesting across the board. So yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. I hope you all have a good week, or have had a good week and are about to have a good weekend. I'm off to prepare for an Instagram live session with a bunch of STEM students, so science, technology, engineering and mathematics students. So it'll be my first ever Instagram live interview, so that will be fun. I'll try and remember to tell you about that. But yeah, have a good one everybody, and yeah, hopefully catch you in my next video.